The city of Denver taking action on the migrant crisis tonight. Officials announced this afternoon that 2 shelter sites will be opening tomorrow for migrants experiencing homelessness. They'll focus on the population who's gathered here in recent weeks near Speer and Zuni.
And this comes after as many as 19 buses and vans dropped off migrants in Denver's Central Park neighborhood Friday. And the influx hasn't stopped there. More than 160 migrants arrived in Denver on Monday. So far, 118 have arrived today.
Denver 7's Brandon Richard shows us how the city plans to help these people settle into our city.
Well, in just the past week, some 1,500 migrants have arrived here to Denver. If you do the math on that, that's over 200 a day. Well, today we learned the city plans to open 2 new shelters to help them. Like thousands of others who've migrated from Central and South America, Arturo came to the United States seeking a better life. We are not liked by everyone, but in reality, all the people who died along the journey had a dream of getting ahead and achieving many things, he told me. A native of Venezuela, he's been in Denver for 3 months, spending most days at this encampment at Zuni and 27th, hoping for work. I have no child, no responsibility, and it's a little difficult for me to be alone, he said. But soon, he and others living at the encampment will have to leave.
This site it's not necessarily safe. It's not necessarily healthy at this point.
John Ewing with Denver Human Services says the city will begin closing the encampment this week and will open 2 new shelters for the migrants on Wednesday.
One of the shelters has space for 200 people, another has space for 120 people.
The shelters are meant to be a temporary stop for the migrants.
30 days is the length of stay, but again, the goal is not to stay in that shelter. The goal is for us to get you into housing or to get you on your way somewhere else.
Ewing says 300 migrants have applied for housing. 95 have either moved in or will soon move into their new homes. He says the city will cover their expenses until they can get on their feet.
For people who are working, first month's rent, deposit, security fees, and then if they're not working at the moment, we'll maybe cover up to 3 months. I believe the idea is cover up to 3 months, handle all that, give them a little extra time.
But the city can't care for the migrants alone.
I bring water a few times a week.
That's why people like Tom are doing their part.
Well, because these folks are just like my grandparents. They're migrating to this country for a reason. You know, they can't make it where they're at. They're coming here because this is the land of opportunity.
And that's what Arturo and other migrants hope to find in the days ahead. In Denver, Brandon Richard, Denver 7.
Going in depth here, Mayor Mike Johnston, along with the mayors of Chicago and New York, have been asking for more federal support for weeks now. He wants the Biden administration to authorize more work permits for migrants. Back in September, roughly 470,000 Venezuelans were granted temporary protection status to make them eligible for those work permits. But since then, thousands of additional migrants have arrived in Denver. For those seeking asylum, Mayor Johnston tells us migrants are given a court date when they come to the U.S., but that most of them are being given wait times of 4 years because of significant backlogs. New data from researchers at Syracuse University found that in November, the backlog in immigration court nationwide passed 3 million pending cases. That means immigration judges now have an average of 4,500 pending cases each.